All right, we're already on the third episode of this series, which is on dogma. Oxford Dictionary defines it as a principle or set of principles laid down by an authority as incontrovertibly true. In other words, these are beliefs you must have to be a part of the group. One of the necessary requirements of religious dogma, and we're seeing this in leftism as well, is that the beliefs are not allowed to be challenged, not in any serious way. There can be no challenge to it. There can be no inquisition about it. There can be no sincere or good faith effort to investigate it because 99% of the time, the belief isn't actually warranted and the evidence isn't there. There is no reason to believe in it. Those beliefs are simply there to guide the sheep through the power process. Because dogma isn't just a set of beliefs, it's a whole ecosystem of how that belief is carefully sculpted and manicured, protected, and taboos are built around it. It's insulated and sheltered. This applies to Lutherans, Islamism, neoconservatism, Marxism, or feminism, you name it. This is how it works. This explains why YouTube is now banning channels who put up any sort of climate change denial content up. This explains why people put up Black Lives Matter signs on their businesses during the riots to get them to leave them alone. This explains why Derek Chauvin never had a shot in hell of being found not guilty. This explains why you can't question the motives of the LGBT movement. This is why they have to mandate the vaccine, because questions are not welcome. Not real questions, anyway. Not questions that contain or might sow doubt. And of course, the biggest sin in any faith-based religion is non-belief, and the punishment for that is a fate worse than death. You can never just die and cease to exist, but you will be tortured for all of eternity. Your intentions don't matter, your actions don't matter. It's about your dedication to the belief. Even your past actions don't matter. You can be the worst person ever for your entire life, and all will be forgiven as long as you believe. And this is built into leftism as well in sort of an inverse way. And we're seeing this increase more and more. Look at how they treat former leftists. You can serve that side your whole life, and the moment you start to doubt the movement, they will cut you off. You can be black, and they will deny you your blackness. You can be gay and leave, and they will deny that too. You can be a woman, and again, none of that matters. You can be whatever is the most treasured unicorn minority you can think of. But the moment you leave, you become a heretic. And conversely, you can be the biggest piece of crap ever, and all your actions will be forgiven as long as you're a leftist. Because it's not about actions. It's about dogmatic belief and dedication to that belief. Hunter Biden gets a free pass every time because of what he is. He's sanctified in the religion of leftism. He's covered in the blood of the ass. And sure, he falls short of the glory every now and then, but what true believer doesn't? That's the mindset here. And rest assured that if he ever came out as conservative, they would immediately flip and rip him to shreds. Punishment and rewards and a dogmatic system are never solely about your actions. It's always about your belief. Anyone who doubts that the left is in total control will have a real hard time explaining how the left gets away with so much stuff. As I've pointed out on this channel before, the writing on the tombstone of conservatism will be, can you imagine if the roles were reversed? But in their religion, they're saved. They believe in the gospel, and thus all is forgiven. They're the good guys. They have morality on their side. They're the compassionate ones. They're the ones fighting for the little guys. They're the guys punching Nazis. Which, of course, justifies whatever behavior they see fit. If you really truly believe that unborn babies are not really people, then you are setting yourself up to commit horrible atrocities. If you really believe that Trump is Hitler and endangers democracy itself, then you will be primed to fortify the election, no questions asked. If you really believe in the COVID panic porn that has become leftist dogma, then of course you will enforce totalitarian measures against people in your pursuit of what's right. Because as Voltaire said, those who can make you believe absurdities can make you commit atrocities. Dogma is how a religion or a political group radicalizes people to do their bidding. It's the framework they are commanded to view the world with, and it guides their actions. Dogma is how you get 9/11. These guys weren't cave dwellers. They weren't uneducated. They came from pretty good families. They grew up with and were exposed to Western values and cultures. But the dogma takes precedent. This is also why people who leave leftism sound exactly like people who left religion. And it's why people who become leftists sound exactly like people who just became religious. They never shut up about it. It consumes their free time. It determines their hobbies. It limits the places they can go. It applies that super limited worldview to explain away every possible situation and outcome. In their mind, this new belief explains everything. In a religion, nothing is allowed to just happen. It has to be a part of the plan of a higher power, a bigger system, a systemically racist culture, or an oppressive hierarchy. In his book on the nature of mass movements, Eric Hoffer had this to say about the true believer. The fanatic cannot be weaned away from his cause by an appeal to his reason or moral sense. He fears compromise and cannot be persuaded to qualify the certitude and righteousness of his holy cause. His passionate attachment is more vital than the quality of the cause to which he is attached. To live without an ardent dedication is to be adrift and abandoned. He sees intolerance a sign of weakness, for volatility and ignorance. He hungers for the deep assurance which comes with total surrender, with the wholehearted clinging to a creed and a cause. What matters is not the contents of the cause, but the total dedication and the communion with the congregation. As we've seen in these last 3 videos, there are a number of factors that go into the lives of a religious person, and indeed, a leftist. The same forces that are at work in a group like Heaven's Gate or the 9/11 suicide bombers are the same forces at play in Black Lives Matter, Antifa, environmentalist wackos, or people obsessed over COVID. Firstly, there must be a dogma for one to attach to, an overarching worldview, a framework, a guiding principle, a fantasy. Secondly, the true believer must believe in these ideas on faith. Faith is an important part of all this because when you, the believer, encounters a fact or evidence or truth or a counter-narrative that contradicts your perceived truth, there has to be a mechanism in your brain that helps to continue to believe in the lie. This is why the Bible says, "Lord, I believe, but help mine unbelief." Thirdly, this dogma must be protected through a hierarchical system with priests, reverends, bishops, and doctors who know better but keep sensitive information away from the flock. This system fosters willful ignorance, isolation, censorship, emotional manipulation to keep its people in line. This is the political left at the moment. It's a state-ran religion. My next video will be on the logical fallacies that this new religion is built on, looking at the dogma and seeing if it holds up under criticism. Anyways, that's all the time I have for today. If you enjoyed this video and the type of content I'm making on this channel, consider giving this video a like or maybe subscribing. I'll see you all in part 4 of this series. Peace.